Have you been looking for the secret sauce, the secret thing? What is the nugget? What is the thing that's going to help you get you where you want to go? To level up, to believe that all things are possible and to actually do it. Have you been looking for that? My guess is that if you saw the title, Not Feeling Like Myself, that strength is everything, that's the reason why you're here. I guarantee you there are women walking around right now who are waking up and going, "Ugh, just so tired. I can't motivate myself to do the things." Well, if that's you, then you're you're in the right place. My name is Diana Patton, and I am your authentic power strategist. Everything I do is about authenticity to really help you understand especially as a corporate woman leader, as an executive leader, the only thing that you will have after you go through all the things that we're going through, menopause, perimenopause, AI, artificial intelligence, it's your authenticity. And a lot of us haven't taken the time to examine ourselves, to understand what we need in order to be our absolute best and to do our greatest work. All right. So that's why we're here. I want to check my mic. Mic sounds nice. Check one. Does it sound good? Yep, we got mics. Okay, cool, cool, cool. I got my Yeti mic today because I've been knowing that it's been echoey. So I want to sound and I want to be all professional. So hopefully this sounds good. If you come on here and you're like, girl, I can't even hear you, please let me know. Okay, so we're going to be diving into this topic like, okay, Diana, this is my first time knowing you, and I don't understand when you say not feeling like myself. Well, we've been doing a series, and this series is for women who are going through what is called the perimenopause menopause stage. These are women leaders who are waking up and realizing, I don't feel like myself. What is happening to me? I keep dealing with brain fog. I keep dealing with night sweats, hot sweats, walking around with a fan and feeling irritable, mood swings, feeling shaky like I was. And the reason why I'm doing this is because, for myself, this happened to me in 2020. In 2020, I woke up with all of these symptoms and it just seemed like they came all at once. And you know what the crescendo was? Weight gain. Every single time I'd wake up, I would have 2 more pounds, another pound, or I'd feel stiff. My feet felt heavy. This is another symptom. My feet felt like when I walked on the ground, I felt like I was like, like that's inflammation. And so the reason I'm doing this, not feeling like myself, and we're going to be taking on different types of series and coming to you live on YouTube every single Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, is because the word needs to get out. We need consistent information about this topic because, unlike a podcast, sometimes they bounce around to different types of topics. This topic needs to consistently be in the airways. And I want to help women understand that once you hit this age, 40, 42, and you're past the fertility stage, it doesn't mean your life is over. It means your life is really just beginning. You get to have what I like to call Kanenki, which I was explaining to our newsletter subscribers. And by the way, if you are not subscribed to our newsletter, you need to. Our Authentic Power Strategies newsletters, we have them. You can subscribe through LinkedIn. You can subscribe through YouTube to stay abreast of all of these videos. But I would highly suggest you stay to the end because I actually have an assessment that you're going to want to take. So I really believe that as we would talking to our newsletter subscribers, we've been telling them about this term called Kanenki. And Kanenki is a Japanese term that is broken down about energy. So let's break it down. The KO is renewal and regeneration. Nen, Nen, means year or years. And ki means season, right? Like, so you are in the season of renewal. You are in a season of energy and life. And there is a mental component to menopause. It's not saying that your symptoms aren't menopause so that you can get to the Kanenki, okay? So energy input, number one, food. All right, energy input number one is food. Okay, there is a direct correlation to the nutrients that your body is taking in, whether macronutrients or micronutrients. They all affect your energy, which then affects your strength, right? So you can increase your strength with the right type of input for food. Food matters, absolutely, but it's not everything. Yes, it really matters to your building muscle. It really does. And I have the best strength and conditioning coach, physique coach who's helped me. For those of you who are new to this channel, you're new to me. I just completed my very first bodybuilding comp. You see that muscle right there? That's 58 right here. Okay. Ow. So yeah. So food does matter to your strength. The other thing that matters to your strength is the way in which you are building muscle, right? So you have to build muscle using heavy weight. Why? Because you need to impact the muscle. So let me go back to food for a second, because food is what's going to help to reduce your fat. And you do need some fat. Women, we do need some fat, like especially when you are in the years of um, fertility. You do need fat. Menopausal years, yes, you do need fat, but we don't need that much. Okay. So we do need some fat, but we don't need that much. And usually women, that fat will accumulate in the midsection. So let me show you, because I want to get into doing more work with you physically. So here's what I want to show you is that, the fat will typically accumulate in and around this area. And what impacts this area is, and I'm going to tell you, because this energy that's stored here is food related and it's also stress related. Okay. So I want to just show this to you because this is where my fat was starting to accumulate. Right. And and you can see the collagen loss here. Yes, that's collagen loss. Food impacts that. So my physique coach has been helping me increase protein. I couldn't leave the food section without telling you how the strength is increasing there. And I want to talk a little bit more about this, is that my strength in the core area and got really better and my fat reduced because I was increasing my proteins. Look, I have never ever increased proteins. Do you know how much protein matters in your body's functioning? The amino acids only are protein builders, and there's 9 of them. And we don't actually produce them in our bodies, so we have to eat them. So that's how critical protein is. And the right protein, fat, and carbohydrate makeup, because again, we are an ecosystem, it matters. So this is all about energy input of food. It's going to impact your fat consumption and the way it collects on your body. So that's one aspect. And by the way, as you're following me along here, I can't talk about every single little thing, but we've created a handout called Strength and Menopause. And if you want that handout, I suggest that you say Strength and Menopause, put it in the chat, put it in the comments if you watch this on the replay, and I will get that to you. It's free. Okay. So that's the Strength and Menopause. Okay. So that's food. Food, energy, macros, protein, carbohydrate, fat impacts strength. Now, I'll tell you, as you move along and you start building muscle and you start doing the things like what I'm doing, which was a bodybuilding competition. I entered my very first bodybuilding competition at 58 in Vegas. Yes, I went to Vegas. And as we were moving along in the last week or two, especially what they call peak week, that's not necessarily a healthy thing to do, because we're cutting certain types of nutrients to have the muscle that we currently already have pop out, right? So I'm not saying, and I'm not advocating that that's the most healthiest thing, but what I will tell you is that as I was going along this whole bodybuilding prep, everything began to change. And it was just a miraculous seeing how the chemicals in the body will shift in order for you to gain the strength that you need, and to look strong. Okay. Because that's the one thing in the last week, because I look strong, Was I physically strong? It's going to actually be impacted by what I'm about to say next. Okay, so food, I think we kind of knocked that out of the park. That was a big shift for me that I write about in my strength and menopause handout. Huge. That will impact your strength. Okay, so the second thing that's going to impact your strength is, as I was saying before, my brain was like, nope, you got to talk about food a little bit more, is muscle. The equation for muscle building is amino acids, as we were saying. There's 9 of them. We cannot build them up in ourselves by eating or just by living. We have to eat them. So, but what then translates that to muscle build up is lifting weights. Some women will say, I don't want to lift weights because I don't want to get bulky. Well, that depends on what you're eating. And that's not, let me repeat, that depends on what you're eating, because what you're eating will impact that. Your muscle is like this big, whereas fat, the weight of fat and the weight of muscle, this might be your fat, this is the muscle. So when you decrease the muscle, decrease the fat, the muscle might increase like this. And that's what's going to cause you to be more efficient, look more defined, not look weak, but feel strong, is muscle. Why wouldn't you want to start building muscle? Oh, it hurts, Diana. It's so hard. It hurts not building muscle because you got a lot of inflammation. You're waking up tired. It's like, choose your heart. Which one do you want to be? You want to be weak and, constantly complaining about your pain and the weight, because your muscle building, the energy that you get from that will exponentially increase your strength. And that's the reason why I have things that I do, like look at this. This is just a little thing this is this plastic that has tension to it. Just doing this during the day is so helpful. This is increasing strength and tension, right? Because your body needs that strength and tension. Can you guys hear me? I don't know if you guys can hear me when I walked over there. Let me bring my mic. Okay, so what I'm also going to do is I'm also going to show you that I have these dumbbells. Everybody should have dumbbells in their house, right? Just doing this every single day with a 1 pound, 2 pound weight, you can increase your muscle, right? And just holding this up like this, increasing the tension, increasing the muscle. I would like to do an entire YouTube live on muscle building alone to go through the basics. This increase of muscle is going to increase your energy, which is going to help stimulate hormone receptors, increasing estrogen and progesterone stimulation in the body to decrease hot flashes, decrease fat, lower insulin, lower cortisol, lower glucose spikes. It's just all of the things that you need to be able to do. That's going to help increase your strength, ladies. So we have food, right? We have building muscle, which is weight training. And with the weight training, I believe mobility exercises, stretching, doing pliable exercises, some cardio, all of those things come together to make your strength happen, right? So we all know that people, like I remember being in Mexico and we had to sign this waiver to get up this mountain. And I kept seeing all these people, and it's hot, okay? I was like, why are these people drinking mimosas and like having French toast, right? Before going up this mountain. I mean, obviously the French toast, okay, maybe not so bad. I mean, you're going to get a good glucose spike, right? The glucose is gonna increase your blood sugar, and you're gonna get a lot of energy, but that crash is gonna be crashing pretty hard. And sure enough, the people were dropping like flies. The strength to get over that thing had a lot to do with your energy input, the food you were eating, and then also what kind of muscle do you have on your body that's going to help pull you through. All right, so we've talked about that enough. Now let's move to another quantification of energy. The other another input of energy is, how efficient is your blood moving through your body? And that has a lot to do with your, I would say, the fluidity of your ecosystem and, your body's efficiency with, moving that sludge that's going on in your body. And so, drinking your water, right? I drink about a gallon and a half of water a day. Someone say, well, what don't you risk like, hyper hydrosis or something like that, drinking too much water. Mm, like maybe like 2% of people, because you're wanting to get your body moving. When you're urinating and you're extracting, you're going to the bathroom, defecating, like you are getting all that crap out, literally and figuratively. Right. So you really need to understand that's efficiency. That's energy input. And it's actually causing your energy to rise. I don't know about you because I'm the authentic power strategist. But after taking a healthy poop and getting all that crap out of my body, my energy is like, woo! I am so glad I got that out. Tell me I'm not lying. I know it's biology because it happens. I talk about this with athletes all the time. If you can get that out before you, start playing your basketball game or run your event or do your 5K, it matters. Tell me it doesn't. Yes, it does. All right. So that's a big, huge reason why your strength is not there because your blood's not moving efficiently through your body. So we've talked about food, we've talked about muscle, we've talked about efficiency and drinking the water and getting your body to feel more alive and vibrant. And within those, supplementation can help. I don't talk a lot about supplements. I mean, they matter, but it's not as a deep macro matter like water and food and exercise is. So let's talk about another factor that impacts your strength. Is so with energy is input from what's coming from the outside and from the inside. So let's talk about the outside in who you hang around, the people you hang around, the places you go, what you watch on television or on social media. Those inputs, you don't understand how deeply they impact your strength. You guys say, no, I know, because when I'm around this person, I feel tired, I feel exhausted, right? Or when I go here, I just don't feel good. Or when I watch this, I just, right? So, and you may not know what it's doing to you on the inside, but it literally is breaking you down. So let me give you an example. Yesterday, I was watching this movie, and it was a movie about the paddle tennis dude. His name was Marty something, and it was out in 2025. And when I watched it, they said it's like I watched the reviews, and the guy said I was always on edge. There was always something happening, and I just felt like it was like And I'm thinking, oh, it wasn't a lot of like killing, which really makes my brain go not. It depletes me, but there was a lot of activity going on in that movie. And I just like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff going on. I don't want to give it away. Literally, when I got out of that movie, I was tired. I was tired. My brain was tired. Tired. And so I had to move away from that. I had to go outside. I turned on some music, some like, music to kind of like help my brain get settled. It just depleted my strength. So you don't understand the people you hang around, what you're consuming and watching in social media, If you're watching the news constantly, I don't even understand how some people function. Sit down and take a healthy dose of 40 minutes of news and then just go on with life. That's got to clog some of the wheels there. All right. And then, so just be conscious of that, because what you don't know, which is an input, is your subconscious mind. So you have your conscious mind, which is what we're doing right now. And then you have your subconscious mind, which makes up 80% of the way that you think, because these are stored memories, stored thoughts that neurologically are already resonant there. And let me tell you something, that input is powerful. It's more powerful than you think. And you know this because it will stop you from doing what it is that you want to do. You'll be like Paul in the Bible. It says, I don't know why I talk about Paul, meaning like actually in a biblical Paul. I don't know why I do the things that I do, right? What I want to do, I don't do. And what I don't want to do, I do. It's this dichotomy, like I'm just constantly, and what's happening is your subconscious mind energy input. It's depleting your energy and your strength. And that, my friends, I would say is so important because, like I said, when this energy, if you have the food, right? Energy is right here, and you have strength right here. As the energy increases, you're going to be able to have more strength. So, what if you don't have a good subconscious mind, right? Your mind doesn't have good thoughts in it, it's going to deplete your strength. So, that's why it's important to understand that subconscious nature. And and the reason why I say this, because being a spiritual being, having a human experience, there are going to be times, and not many, but people who are in very dire situations, right? Who have that very bad situations. Let's say, for example, a person that's in an abusive relationship. A person that's in an abusive relationship doesn't really have the strength to get out of that position for a lot of reasons. And it has a lot to do with their energy and what's filling their energy, right? So it's really difficult to see your way to get out of that, because you have to have the strength to be able to do that. Well, I also want to talk about people who are prisoners of war, people who get through like difficult, really, really, really difficult situations. These are people who really, are like, how do you get the strength to get through that situation? Or a person who's been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. How does that person get through the strength of doing that? And here's what everyone knows. Everyone knows that when you don't have good energy input, because the cancer is depleting your body, the abusive relationship is just taking over, you're in a situation that seems dire, something kicks in. Something kicks in that gives you a strength that passes all understanding. Something is like neurological, but also spiritual, supernatural. And this is why supernatural strength happens. I always remember as a child, I remember hearing the story of a woman whose child, they got in an accident, they got in a car accident, and the car was over their child. And I remember listening to this story of a woman who literally picks up her car and gets it off of her son. Like, how does that woman have that supernatural strength to be able to do that? Well, that supernatural strength comes from a supernatural understanding of energy. This is where we say that this strength that passes all understanding, like you can't even understand, that's supernatural. And so I want to be able to share that with you, because sometimes that energy input is not necessarily something that you can like physically touch. It's a mindset, it's a belief system, it's this idea that I can have the strength to get to where I need to be. If you talk to a lot of athletes, they will tell you that, right? They don't have enough energy, their body's cramping, they feel like they're getting sick, but something else kicks in, right? It's all a mindset. It's all the subconscious way of the way in which you view your life, and you see the way that you can get through situations. You can get through anything, and everything is possible. But again, it's all on how you see your energy. right? And so if your energy receptors are low, your strength is low. But strength is everything. Strength can get you through just about anything. But if you're not seeing it that way, you are not going to get to where you want to be. And that's the reason why the Japanese view Konenki, Konenki, renewal, season, energy, getting you to that next level. It's a mindset, it's a belief system. It gives you strength. Just knowing that, just believing that is going to give you the strength that you need to get through anything you need to do. That's why at the end of the day, all things being equal, if you didn't have the food, if you did, now granted, all these other macro things like food and strength and muscle and all those things, because you are a human, you need those things, right? You can't survive too long without them. So, but when you look at the ability of the mind to be able to take you to places that you have never been, it's powerful. And that's the reason why mindset gets you the strength is everything equation, right? Because of the fact that you are a spiritual being, it's supernatural. You are more capable of doing things that you don't even realize. Stress, by the way, has more to do with a hot flash than the biochemical nature of the body dealing with that. So, and this has been proven that when women are dealing with hot flashes, that depletes your energy, right? It just depletes your energy because it's just so much work to raise the level of the heat in your body to then to come back down. That's a lot of energy that is being taken. And what contributes to that is stress. And if you can kanenki it, you can actually say, I'm so grateful for this. How does one become grateful for that? Well, it's all in the way you believe. It's all in your mindset. And to have the strength to have that kind of mind is powerful. So I just, there's so much to say about this topic. And I just really want to begin to invite people into these conversations with me because I'm going to continue to have these conversations and I want to invite you in. And so I'm looking for women who want to actually join in on these conversations. And if you are a person who would like to join me live and get into a hot seat coaching, I'd love to be able to do that with you. So, because that's just, I just believe that women really need to find a space to be able to kind of dive deep into these conversations. And to the extent that you would need some hot seat coaching afterwards, we could even work that in too. Yes. So let me take a moment to share a little bit about my Strength in Menopause handout that I've created. This is a free handout that I want to give to women so that they can see the steps that I took to get to the bodybuilding stage at 58. My first bodybuilding stage at 58. Yes, I was asked by the announcer. She said, "Now, ma'am, how old are you?" I said, 58. She said, 58. You made your debut bodybuilding competition at 58. Yes, I did. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Like she was just like, what? And then she said, and honey, can I tell you that you look absolutely fabulous? And I said, thank you so much. I felt so good about that. And then I said, I gotta write about this. I need people to know. Now, like one thing was I lost the 25 pounds that I got on. But then the other step to have the strength to actually walk on to a stage in a little teeny weeny itty bitty bikini that I wouldn't even wear like when the kids were little. Like I never ever like my daughter asked me, "Mom, is this your bikini? What is this doing in your drawer?" "Oh, that's from my honeymoon." "But you never wear it." "No." "Why?" "I just never did." Because I'm thinking, "Oh, I'm a mom. I shouldn't wear that." But no, I chose to turn 58 and to actually go on a stage in a teeny weeny bikini that was a thong on a stage in heels. Like what? Who does that? But why not? What is the point like that I have to stay in this box at a certain age? No. I get to I get to Kanenki and have this new season of life. And so I decided to write down the shifts that I took to get there. And there are 5 of them. Okay. So I just talked about a few of them, right? I talked about food, right? Really understanding how food became how working out and what I had to do in that area. But some of these other shifts, like sleeping, like going to sleep, like I never did that. Like I never ever viewed strength as a or sleep as a strength quantifier ever. Or like walking after meals. Like what? How does that actually give me strength? So much strength. It's not only just for my physical strength, it's my mental strength. So sleeping was like immensely important. Like why aren't we talking about this? I don't understand. So that was a huge one. And then of course I talked a lot about this spiritual nature, right? That you're the spiritual side of things and meditating and praying and visualizing, getting yourself to embody who it is that you wanted it to be. See, these shifts are all the things that I talk about. So if you want the strength in menopause, I'm putting it in the chat here. Handout, just type strength in menopause, and I will send that to you, and you'll get the PDF as well. Also, we are writing our next book. And we're deciding if it's going to be strength in menopause or strength is everything. So regardless, it's going to be strong because we're going to be talking about the strong nature of life and having muscles and why it's important to have muscles and fat, right? Because fat is important, but having more muscle, right, to get you to the next level. In the strength and menopause, we don't go deep into hormone replacement therapies. It's important, absolutely. And it is something that I believe every person should talk to your doctor about. And the reason why I don't go into depth about it is because I can't, I don't have all of the answers, but I do know that it is available to you and we all should research it for ourselves and get what we need and talk to our physicians about that. This is strength is everything because strength is everything. If you don't have the energy to be able to get where you want to go, then that is a problem. So I would love for you to get the strength and menopause handout. If you want to go deeper, because there are a lot of women like, I'm ready to dive deeper. I mean, we got some steps you could take. You could do our executive biology audit where you can begin. It takes time. I've noticed people keep coming in and they don't complete it. And I'm like, ugh. Like you got to take time to complete it. Like people want to get to people want to get to, losing weight and building muscle and having strength, but you can't complete the executive biology audit, ma'am. Like we got to take steps, right? Ask for the strength and menopause handout. Do the executive biology audit. It's free, right? And then we can take steps because I just don't take the time to talk to all people. They don't have access to me because we can't go here if you're not willing to take these steps. Like you got to take steps. Like show up. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Follow through. That's going to give you strength. Because if you don't follow through and you say you're going to do something, you don't follow through on it, then your mind is like, she's not serious. She doesn't follow through on anything. Just write it off. Don't even that's you want to talk about an energy depletion factor. You ain't going to get strong on nothing if you aren't honest with yourself and to follow through. So you got to be people that follow through. Consistency. See, I think that energy and strength, but consistency is the through line. Ooh, that is good. I just literally thought about that. That is so good. Because consistency is what's going to pull it higher and higher and higher in the right areas. That is good. I'm going to write that out. So we got energy, strength, and then consistency. It's like takes strength all the way up. That's beautiful because a lot of us are consistent in the wrong things. Like you're consistently following up with these people that you don't even like hanging around because they deplete your energy. You're consistently going to the bad places. You're consistently drinking alcohol at night, which is causing your depleting your energy stores. Therefore, you can't sleep. You're consistently and chronically getting horrible sleep because you're not You see how this goes? But if you could shift that and come into the strength is everything equation that we're talking about, you're unstoppable. Until death do you part. Doesn't matter what age. So my point is this: when you're in menopause, it's the best time ever. It is going to be the time that you are in for the rest of your life, which is the reason why I'm going to be consistently talking to women about this topic. Why? Because I want you to have the strength to speak up and advocate for yourself. I want you to have the strength to realize that the common denominator is you. I want you to have the strength to realize that all the things that have happened to you in the past are in the past. You don't have to keep picking them up every single day. Because when you start to realize what's depleting your energy and you start to realize that you can have that strength, right? Because AI is going to be taking care of a lot of things. Artificial intelligence is there, it's here to stay. It's going to be replacing the thinking that we don't always have, and we can use that to our advantage. But if we don't understand the strength that we have as a human, and you don't understand the possibilities that are already in you that are endless, then I would be sitting there questioning and scared about artificial intelligence. But I'm here to let you know it just gets better and better and better with age. Better and better with age. Okay, so I just went on on a tangent. So get the Strength and Menopause handout, Ask Strength and Menopause. Want to go deeper. You can get that, but then you want to go deeper, do the executive biology audit. We'll put the link when this the video goes up, and then we can talk. We actually have quite a few things in store for you. We actually have, when you go to get to Strength and Menopause handout, we are going to be doing a workshop that's going to be coming up. We're going to be doing a series of different types of workshops. But you said me like, Diana, but I would love to come in here in one of these little conversations that you're having and get in a hot seat. Well, we'll have a link for that to do. We're here every single Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So subscribe, like, comment, share. We'd love it all. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I look forward to seeing you in our next video. Until then, peace and love and all things rising.